All right, let's jump right in. If you've been keeping an eye on the Charlotte housing market, you've probably noticed things just feel different heading into 2026. That frenzy we saw a couple of years ago, it's definitely over. But what exactly has taken its place? We're going to break down all the latest numbers and figure out what it all means for you.
So this is the big one, isn't it? The question on everyone's mind. Prices are still up, but homes are taking longer to sell. So who has the upper hand? Is it the buyers, who suddenly have more to choose from? Or is it still the sellers, who are benefiting from all the people who want to live in Charlotte?
Well, the answer is it's not that simple anymore. It's really a little bit of both. We're moving away from a market where one side just completely dominates. Right now, success, whether you're buying or selling in Charlotte, isn't about being the fastest, it's about being the smartest. It's all about your strategy.
Okay, so don't just take my word for it. Let's actually dig into the hard data that shows this shift is happening. We're going to pop the hood on the numbers from the end of 2025 and the start of this year to see what's really going on.
First things first, let's talk price. The median sales price for a home in the Charlotte area officially hit $400,000 back in December. Now that's a big number for sure, but the really interesting part is what happens when you look back just 1 year.
And check this out. Prices went up by 3.9% year over year. So let's be super clear about this. Home values are still going up. If you're a homeowner in Charlotte, your investment is definitely still growing. But here's the crucial context. We're now talking about a much more moderate, sustainable kind of growth. This is nothing like those wild double-digit price hikes we got used to a few years back. Think of it this way. The rocket ship has kind of leveled off into a nice, steady cruising altitude.
Now, what about the pace of the market? Well, the average home took 60 days to sell. That's up from 50 days a year before, a 20% jump. So what does that tell us? It means buyers are taking their time. They have more options, they're being more selective. That whole listed on Friday, sell it on Sunday madness, yeah, for the most part, that's over. This table here shows a really interesting split personality in the market. On the one hand, you see that pending and closed sales were actually up a little bit. That tells us buyer demand is still really solid. But, and this is a big but, look at that last line. Sellers got, on average, just over 94% of their asking price. A year ago, that was higher. That little drop? That, right there, is proof that buyers are starting to flex their negotiating muscles again.
Okay, now for the number that I think shows the biggest change of all. As we kicked off 2026, the number of homes actually for sale shot up by over 18% compared to the year before. And for anyone out there looking to buy, that means one thing: options. You finally have more choices. All of this data feeds into this key number we watch called months supply of inventory. It's basically just a fancy way of saying how balanced the market is. Right now, Charlotte is sitting at 2.8 months of supply. A year ago, it was under 2. That jump is a huge signal that we're in a much healthier, more normal place. The frenzy is officially over.
So, we've looked at the numbers. Now, let's translate all of that into action. What does this actually mean for you? Well, if you're trying to buy a house in Charlotte this year, you need a totally new game plan because you've got some powerful new advantages.
You know, you can really think of it as a power shift, a rebalancing. For buyers, this means more options, more room to negotiate, and way less of that frantic pressure. But hey, sellers, don't worry. The underlying demand for homes in Charlotte is still super strong, and as we saw, prices are still going up.
So let's really spell it out. As a buyer, that 18% inventory jump means you actually get to look at more than one house. You have breathing room. You're probably not going to find yourself in some crazy 10-offer bidding war. And you can actually ask for things again, like repairs or help with closing costs. Now, affordability is still tough, no doubt, but at least it's not getting worse at that rapid pace it was before.
So what's the playbook for buyers? It's really just 2 steps. Step 1, you still got to be prepared. I mean, the really great homes are still going to go fast, so get that pre-approval done. But step 2, and this is the new part, be strategic. Use that leverage you have now. Negotiate. But, and this is really important, don't go in with some crazy lowball offer thinking the market's crashing. It's not. It's just balanced.
Okay, let's flip this around. What if you're thinking about selling? Well, your strategy has to change too. You can absolutely succeed in this market, but you can't play by the old rules anymore. You know, there's a line from the market analysis that just nails it. It says, Charlotte has shifted away from instant bidding wars toward a more balanced environment where pricing strategy and condition really matter. And that's it right there. It all comes down to how you price your home and how good it looks.
Look, This is the new reality if you're selling. Buyers have more choices, so they can afford to be picky. They're just not going to overpay for a place that needs a bunch of work. We saw the numbers. Sellers aren't getting 100% of their asking price anymore. So if you overprice your home or it looks kind of tired, it's just going to sit there.
So what do? Two things. And honestly, these are non-negotiable now. First, you have to price your house based on today's market, not the crazy headlines from last year. Second, you've got to nail the presentation. I'm talking professional photos, maybe some staging, fixing all those little things you've been putting off. That stuff isn't just nice to have anymore. It's what makes you stand out.
All right, so let's zoom out a bit. What's the outlook for the rest of 2026? What should we all be expecting as the year goes on in this new, more balanced market?
Well, what most of the experts are predicting is pretty calm, actually. They're forecasting that home prices will continue to appreciate, but in this really healthy, sustainable range of about 2 to 4%. That's the sign of a stable market. It's not a bubble getting ready to pop, and it's definitely not a crash. And you might be asking, why is it so stable? Well, it's because the foundation of Charlotte's market is just incredibly strong. You've got great job growth, people are still moving here like crazy, we have a really diverse economy, and it looks like mortgage rates are going to kind of hold steady. These are the big pillars holding everything up. So, when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway? It's this. The Charlotte housing market has found its balance. It's not that crazy, overheated market we saw a couple years ago, but it is absolutely not weak. It's strong, it's healthy, and it's a market where being smart and prepared really pays off.
And that really leaves us with just one last question for you to think about. We've seen all the data, we know the market has changed in a big way. So the question is, whether you're a buyer or a seller, has your strategy changed with it?